The BRICS nations want to see higher real prices for commodities, and I fully support that. So gold has had a tremendous move. It'll probably continue higher. I think it was Bank of America just came out, Chase Manhattan just came out and said they see $3,000 gold this year. Hell, we could have $3,000 gold next week.
On Wednesday, gold prices retreated from record highs following hawkish remarks from Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. Investors are now shifting their focus to upcoming U.S. inflation data and developments on U.S. trade tariffs. Despite this pullback, demand for bullion remains strong, particularly among central banks. The World Gold Council reported that for the third consecutive year in 2024, central banks purchased over 1,000 tons of gold. Following Donald Trump's electoral victory, central bank purchases surged by more than 54% year over year, reaching 333 tons, according to WGC data. While major banks such as Bank of America and JPMorgan have forecasted gold reaching $3,000 this year, Bob Moriarty believes an even more dramatic surge is possible. He remarked, "Hell, we could have $33,000 in gold next week." Although Moriarty acknowledges that gold may be slightly overbought in the short term, he insists that this is still the early phase of a much larger market cycle. He views the ongoing economic landscape as a battle between the West's debt-based financial system and the BRICS nations' resource-backed economies, which continue to push for higher commodity prices. Meanwhile, the U.S. federal debt has reached historic levels, rivaling those during World War II. With no significant tax or spending reforms, projections indicate that debt levels will continue to rise indefinitely. According to the U.S. Treasury, the United States currently holds a staggering $36.2 trillion in public debt, an amount that remains central to the global financial system. Moriarty also warns about the economic risks stemming from worsening relations with China. He highlights that China has recently added 5 more critical minerals to its export restriction list. If tensions escalate further, he cautions that China could take more drastic measures, potentially halting exports of essential resources to the U.S. altogether. We're about to explore the video, but first, subscribe and hit the bell icon to keep up with our newest uploads. Your feedback in the comments is always appreciated.
Well, one of the things that really nobody's speaking about, I'm a little bit disappointed because they should be speaking about. There's 3 ways to create wealth. You can grow it, you can manufacture it, or you can mine it. Every other occupation gets its income from one of those 3. Now, at the time of the Great Depression, 1929, mining was 29% of the Dow Jones. Right now, it's 0.5%. Trump recognizes we've given our manufacturing capability away, and his excuse for the tariffs is 1, to raise income, and 2, to give protectionism to American industry. It's going to take 25 years to rebuild the United States as a manufacturing giant, and that's if you do everything right, okay? The United States does happen to be very efficient in agriculture, okay, and there isn't very much you can do there to increase the national wealth. However, the one thing that you can change that would have a tremendous effect would be to reduce the red tape and the bureaucratic nonsense from the government on mining. And there's a lot of projects in the mining industry in the United States and Canada that are going to get fast forwarded, and they're going to go into production because we need to create wealth to offset the debt of the United States. So I actually see everything across the board. China has just put another 5 critical metals on the do not ship to the U.S. list, okay? We keep screwing with China, we're going to find out they're not going to ship anything to us but noodles and rice. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, and literally that's true. As we speak, gold is $28.78. Now, that's an amazing number. That is literally 11 times higher than it was 25 years ago. In August of 1999, gold hit $252. So for it to be above 2,800 is absolutely remarkable. Silver, on the other hand, Hasn't even gone back to what it was in 1980 or back what it was in 2011. Platinum, which has always had a premium to gold, has been selling at a discount to gold. So I actually see somebody, almost certainly China, but certainly, almost certainly central banks, recognize the perilous state of the world's economy, and they're loading up on gold. Now, in relative terms, I think you'll see higher advances in silver and platinum and palladium, copper and zinc, and things like that, because those are still real commodities. So gold is probably a little bit overpriced, but where are we? We're very early in the position, okay? The resource stocks, you got to understand there's war going on between the debt-based system of the West and the resource-based system of the East. And the BRICS nations want to see higher real prices for commodities.
U.S. President Donald Trump once again issued a warning on Thursday, threatening steep tariffs against any country that attempts to challenge the dominance of the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. When asked about the possibility of BRICS creating its own currency, Trump dismissed the idea outright, declaring, "BRICS is dead," a claim he has repeated since first imposing tariff threats against the group earlier this year. If they want to play games with the dollar, they're going to be hit with a 100% tariff, he stated. However, Bob Moriarty sees a very different outcome. He believes that rather than weakening, BRICS will only grow stronger in response to U.S. threats. In his view, Trump's confrontational stance toward Russia, Canada, and Mexico will push more non-aligned nations to consider joining BRICS, further solidifying its influence on the global stage. Now, let's redirect our attention to a video.
Whether you love Trump or hate Trump, Trump is a bully. Okay? When he takes on BRICS, he is not taking on Panama. He's not taking on Mexico. He's not taking on Justin Trudeau. He's taking on 40% of the world's economy. And these people are pissed at being pushed around by the United States. So are they going to react to it in a positive way for the United States? Of course not. Okay. And when he starts messing around with Putin and threatens Putin with his baseball bat, Putin's going to take that baseball bat and shove it up his ass. Here's what we're facing. And you did an excellent job of talking about Elon Musk and his crew. What nobody wants to talk about is the president doesn't actually have that much control over that many areas of the budget. Now, Elon Musk has come out and said, okay, we're going to do this and this and this and this and this. And if we're really good and we're really lucky, we can cut the deficit by $1 trillion a year. Well, the unspoken part of that is, but the other $1.5 trillion or $2 trillion in deficit just gets added to the deficit. The United States is bankrupt. Nobody wants to use that term, but it's that simple. The United States is bankrupt. We are making promises. We've been making promises for the last 80 years that we cannot fulfill. Okay? Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid are broke. We're spending an absurd amount of money on defense, and we can't afford it, and interest rates are going up. The United States is bankrupt. We need to address that issue first. And while I salute Elon Musk and his crew for reducing the speed of the bankruptcy, they're not changing the fact of the bankruptcy. They're just saying, well, the bankruptcy is not going to happen quite as fast as it would have happened otherwise. BRICS is going to be empowered by any threats, and all of the relatively non-aligned nations who are not part of BRICS now.
Gold prices dipped after hawkish Fed comments, but central bank demand remains strong, with purchases surpassing 1,000 tons for a third year. While major banks see gold at $3,000, some predict an even sharper rise amid growing debt concerns and shifting global power dynamics. With U.S. debt exceeding $36.2 trillion, economic instability looms, while escalating trade tensions and BRICS' strengthening position challenge Western dominance, potentially reshaping global alliances. With central banks accumulating record amounts of gold, do you think this signals a loss of confidence in the U.S. dollar? Join the conversation. Share your thoughts in the comments, give us a thumbs up if you found value in this video, and subscribe to stay engaged with our community.